Why do you feel a vertical-centric approach limits a business strategy?
A term I like to use is silos. So smashing silos is a project I'm working on. And I just think when you lock yourself into these narrow ways of looking at either your talents or the world, you close off the possibilities. Mm-hmm. And one of the common questions I get is, as a former trader, I worked at Goldman, people are amazed that, how did you make the transition from, one world that seems very disparate to what I'm doing now, marketing and writing and a ton of different things. And I was always someone who was interested in those things. I promoted events in New York before business school. I was always into music, always into the arts, always into culture. So that was a natural part of who I was. The concept of having to close off one aspect of my life to pursue another just never made sense to me.
That's right.
And I think the more we do that, even in more traditional corporate environments, the less we're capable of getting the best out of the people that we have. If someone is working in an accounting role, we see them only in that role. They might have interests, they might have talents, they might have abilities that transcend that. Mm-hmm. Maybe they want to move into corporate finance, maybe they want to move into marketing, maybe they want to move into operations. You never know. And understand that, we all have different views, we all have different interests, we all have different talents. Right. The more widespread we can make our organizations, the better we are to really plug into people's talents. And I think the more you do that, the more you get value from those people. Yeah, the distinct roles, they played more into kind of responsibility and accountability. But the dialogue should still be open. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm gonna have primary responsibility just because you can't have chaos. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to look at some of those other things and have input into them. So we're willing to talk to and go back and forth. So we're sort of cross-functional, but we do have some certain responsibilities. So I guess some of those responsibilities are maybe tiebreakers, because oftentimes, let's say we're looking at a layout for the magazine or an event, a space that we're talking about using for an event. If one of us has a strong opinion about it, then the kind of responsibilities will be the tiebreaker.